Good morning, everyone. So there have been a few requests for me to share the new fish room, the newly renovated fish room. There was a bit of a tank leak some time ago, and so this is the new setup. It is and always will be a work in progress. I'd like to give you a tour now, and if you have any suggestions or feedback or comments, feel free to leave them at the bottom of this video. Basically, this is one of the rooms that had been converted by the previous owners. It used to be a garage, and so I've basically got these glass doors installed, and at night I close them so the temperature is a bit regulated within it, and in the daytime I leave the doors open so that we've got fresh air through it. The two whippets, my two dogs, actually live behind that fish tank there. That's their bed, and they're not in there at the moment, so we won't look at them. I have, like, the first thing you would notice is the pond. Well, it really is a kiddie pool, and you can buy these from Kmart for about 20 bucks on offer, and in there I put all of the plants that I have for sale, as well as some of the goldfish that I have for sale. And at the moment it's just a makeshift sort of overhead filtration system where I use an old crate, and there's a pump going through some of the filter wool. Then there is Frankie. Frankie is our Mary River turtle. There he is. And he's got his docking bay that he doesn't use too much. He's still quite a small turtle. So that's a 4-foot tank for Frankie. And just below Frankie's, I have one tank there on the left, which is just a grow-out tank for odds and sods. And on the right are the more delicate bubble eye goldfish that have to be kept by themselves. So there's one. Next to Frankie's tank is a new tank setup that I've recently acquired from Danny Lloyd. He's a really inspirational fish keeper if you haven't already met him, and he's got a few nice videos on YouTube. So I've acquired his setup, and at the moment you don't see anything in it, but I essentially I'm intending to turn this into a wave tank with lots of current to simulate a waterfall environment, and in it I'm going to put some hill stream loaches, so watch this space. That runs off a sump with some of my plants growing from there, as well as a chiller at the far end to keep the temperature at about 19 degrees all year round. Above this tank, it is a work in progress, and I plan to make a terrarium-ish sort of setup and probably put some fighting fish in it. I haven't really quite decided. Right now it's just a storage for some odds and sods, and I've just got the plumbing that I need to put together. This was my original setup of a 3-tier tank that I got second hand for probably about easily 4 years ago now. The guy I got them off used to breed plecos, really nice plecos, and I just had to get a setup to sell a lot of the plants that I was growing. So the first tank setup at the moment really is, the lighting is quite bad, but right on top is a 4-foot, and that is really just for some plants that I sell, and in it are just some high fin platies. I'm just trying to I might just turn off this light here, which is glaring, and maybe this is a better look. There is a golden ram in there as well, and some high fin platies, and some of the plants that are offer on sale. Things like here in the foreground, this is Anubias Evzeli, beautiful plant, perfect for small betta tanks. The intermediate plant are Emerald Heart Anubias and Java ferns at the back, and you can see the Java fern there in particular is having a few of these little pups that are growing from one of its fronds. These are dwarf chainsaws, and some of these are on auction at the moment, and you can see the little runners that are coming out of some of these plants. They are sensitive plants, it takes some time to adjust, but when they do put out runners, it means that they're getting the hang of things. There is a lot of red cherry shrimp in this tank as well, and there is a rather gravid female right here and a male over there. To the bottom of the tank are a 4-foot that's been split into two 2-foots. Just focus that. Split into two. the way I've created this underwater garden is really a mixture of artificial mats as well as live plants. You will notice that the substrate I use in this video, in these two tanks are sand. And it amazes me still how some plants can grow in sand. This is really quite affordable Tyler sand that you can buy from Bunnings, but I use my my special fertilizer as well, and so that's why the plants are looking so good. In this tank, I've had a video on this already. These are the chameleon fish, or the tiger buddies, and that one there is the female that's just, you know, exploring her environment. And on this side here, I have a few things that are really elusive in this tank, and they don't really come out too often. There are a pair of autocinklers, a pair of placos. I don't know the L number on them. And there is a breeding trio of Apistogramma cacatoides, which are the cockatoo dwarf cichlids, and I'll probably do another video on them as soon as she lays some eggs. And that there is the really gorgeous one of the more dominant males, but I'll do another video on them. And that plant in there are plants that I am putting on auction at the moment, and that is Hemianthus macrothermoides, or HM for short, which is probably the least challenging of all of the Hemianthus varieties to grow, and they are one of the few that can grow without a CO2 system. Here at the bottom is, on the left side, basically the sump that basically takes care of all of the tanks on this rack. And I had a goldfish spawning recently, so this middle tank at the moment is just gonna, you know, it's just gonna be where I'm gonna hatch some of these babies. And over there I've got a pair of red and white orandas, as well as short-bodied black orandas, and there is a boy and girl of each, and I'm hoping that to get some tricolors from the offspring. So fingers crossed on that. Let's see how that goes eventually. If we move on to the left, is another 4-foot display tank. I haven't really quite decided what I'm going to put in here, but it is planted quite nicely, and at the moment you won't see too many of them because I don't have that many, but I'm trying to focus it. It is just a tank for my crystal reds and crystal black shrimp, and they're of various grades. This is a really bad showcase of them. These are really stunning shrimp, and they used to cost an arm and a leg to afford them, and now they're a lot more affordable, and that's, you know, really thanks to all of the pioneers of the aquaculture hobby in Queensland that brought the first batch in and started culturing them themselves. So I really have quite a good idea what I want to put in here. I was thinking maybe some tiger antler guppies, but we'll see how things go. And it's quite neat because basically it's a mess in here, but I've set it up such that here's where the dogs sleep at night, and I can sometimes laze with them and have a look at, you know, my fish from a different angle. And finally, towards the front of the room is where I sell most of my fish in these display tanks. However, these are, I'm just trying to get an angle where you can see. I've got the first 1, 2, 3 tanks here basically running into a makeshift sump at the moment, and I've heated the water, so it's just one heater to heat all of these 3 tanks, and hopefully that, you know, doesn't cost too much energy, doesn't consume too much energy. The tanks are bare now, and I've just cleaned them and just set them up for 3 pairs of really gorgeous bettas that I won at an auction recently by Fish Chick. And so I'm really looking forward to them. I'll post another video when they've settled in, and hopefully we can all appreciate their beauty together. I am intending on line breeding them, which is, you know, some people agree with it and some people disagree with that, but I think that line breeding is the only way in which we can retain the qualities of a fish that we want. And if you're unsure what line breeding is, then I suggest you look it up, because I don't want to explain it to you in a video. You might think less of me. And just these 2 on the sides, I've just taken out some of the black koi swordtails and white wild type swordtails from a pond that I have out the back, so that they can overwinter in the pond there on the right. And on the left are just some, I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I've probably lost the plot with some of these things, a lot of the ranchos here are girls, and they're just full of eggs at the moment, and I basically paired them with black Orenda boys because I have a lot of black Orenda boys at the moment. Obviously I'm gonna end up with crossbreeds, but I'm interested to see what the offspring look like, and they were the ones that spawned yesterday, and hopefully they'll spawn again today. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you like my setup, and feel free to drop me any comments or suggestions, and happy fish keeping, everyone.